We are live. I got my boy Johnny coming in from Florida.
What's up?
No way are we going to get locked down state.
Never, ever, 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 ever. That's one thing I can say about Florida, man. It's beautiful.
Also, we got some merch for you guys out there that are looking for some merch. We got the hoodies. Little Titan Medical over here. I have one on right here. We just got these in very comfortable. Thank you for setting us up to win.
Absolutely, man. Want to make sure you guys are feeling good and looking good, both.
I love being just around the Titan mentality. And I've been doing my research and studying as best I can to continue to not just do the discussions with you, but other experts around the world as well, and trying to learn about this whole world of HRT, TRT. And I'm continuing to do it. But full circle, just as what I said, it's like I like being around the winning mindset. It seems to come back to everything works if the mind works.
That's right.
And I noticed a couple things about you, and I've been in this industry. Wow. You've been in this industry for a while, you know.
Yes.
And think of this. I've been in here and at these expos since 1987.
Oh my God.
Yeah, before you probably your daddy and mommy were thinking about you, but you were just
old at that point.
Yeah. So I'm already in the magazines. I'm doing these appearances. I'm with the greatest, and I'm just so glad I was around in that time.
Yeah.
And doing shoots with these people and being there, but being at expos. But what I saw through companies that have come and gone, just like athletes. I mean, I was talking to Sean Ray the other day, and we were talking about so many people that you say a name and I'm like, oh my gosh, forgot about him. Late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s, 2000s. And there's the same thing can be said about companies. And I noticed something with you and the family. And these, if people, I know that people will go, well, expos aren't that hard. Well, you got to set up the booth. You got to do it. And then you got to be mentally present every second.
Absolutely.
There is no off button. And it is check your attitude, check your temperament, check whatever, because you get all walks of life coming up and talking to you. And you're working that booth. And I was thinking about this, and I was talking to Mona about this, is you guys still work the booth. You guys are there setting this stuff up, ripping it down at the end of the day. And I was just thinking back to, that was an 80s mentality.
Yeah.
The owners of the companies that would come in, they would start building up, and the companies that continue to live on,
right,
and not die off.
Right.
It seemed like the attitude, I know this is long-winded, but there's a point to this. There seemed like there was an attitude of the top dogs at the company still do the work and show everybody underneath there what they're this is it. We're doing this. And I'm here with you in the trenches. I ain't leaving.
Right.
I ain't no prima donna. No, and I'm staying.
Definitely.
So seeing that and seeing what you guys did, and at this last appearance, you guys were there all weekend. You beat yourselves down, which you don't have to.
Don't have to, but you know.
So what is that? What is that mindset? Why is it important for the companies that are the people that are still running it, and like your position is, why are you so hands off instead of going, hey, you know what, I can get some people to do this?
For sure. You know, I guess it goes back to the old saying, lead by example, right? If you lead by example, then everybody around you has to respect you. They understand that, listen, this guy's going to do it, so we'll do it. Even though I don't have to, Sharice doesn't have to, like you said. We want to hold our goal, you know, our Titan standard too. You know, we want to make sure we quality checking is everything going right? Are people saying the right things there? You know, are people getting the right experience there? And you know, I guess, you know, some people think, you know, once they start getting successful, and you know, I've seen some mentors tell people, like, you know, you shouldn't associate with anybody below you, and at that point, you keep a higher circle. That's how you grow. But you know, I just can't wrap my head around that too either. You know, like where they get to the point where I'm the CEO of the company, we're vastly successful. And at that point, I'm not going to have any communication with anybody that's underneath me. And I don't have to do this, so I'm not going to go do it. Right. And for me, it was like, you know, at that point, like, I'm never too good for a job. I don't know when the bottom's ever going to fall out. So at that point, I've never stuck up to that extent, you know, and I always believe that people, you know, want to interact with us as far as the owners. And if we're not there and present, then it's like, all right, well, these guys, they exist, right? But I haven't seen these people.
So I just stop you just for 1 second, because you're going to get owners of companies going, well, at some point you guys have to move on because your vision and everything is for the company, and there's more important things for you to do.
Yes.
Is that true, or is it still that you love doing this and you want to be on the ground floor?
So I still love doing what I do. I'm passionate. I like to talk to people about what we do and try to help people out. That's the main thing. That's the reason why we're open. You know, I like interacting with people. Like I said, helping people and talking about their goals, you know, what they're trying to achieve. Like that's where my passion's at. That's why I got into this. That's what I like to do. But you know, I understand that the other side of it too. So I'm not going to get on all CEOs or business people out there because, listen, if you are spending all your time doing this, you're not spending any of the time growing your company or your business or your brand. So you do got to allocate, you know, where the times are. It's all about balance to a certain degree, to a you know, time management. You know, what are you going to do for this amount of time, and then are you going to have enough time to be able to do the other things to help grow the business? Because if you're not growing the business, or you're not growing or progressing in whatever you're doing, whether it's bodybuilding, it's your career, whatever it is, then you're dying. You're stagnant, right? And that's what happened to dinosaurs. They stagnant. They're still around. The meteor shower came, and boom, cold came, and they're all dead. So for us, it's all about adapting. It's all about, you know, progressing every single day. And you know, if we need to, then we're going to jump in and do it. But I like to be present at the events. I like to talk to people, and I like the interaction. You know, I mean, there's nobody who's going to be able to explain Titan better than me or Charisse, you know, out there. There's some good people that work for us, and they understand what we do and how we do it. But you know, if people really want the best information from Titan Medical Center, they can come directly to me, and I don't got a problem talking to anybody. You know, whether it's a phone call or somebody comes up to me at an event, or I'm in the gym working out and they stop me and my earphones on. You know, one way or the other, I never turn away anybody. That's my biggest thing. If people are disrespectful, it'll be one thing, but most people are very respectful, or they just don't, you know, they don't know etiquette, and they just want to know the information, and they don't know, they might never see me again. So at that point, hey, you got to take the shot. You know, if you miss 100% of your shots, if you don't take any of the shots. So I understand where that comes in. You know, it is what it is. Like I said, I love helping people. I know you're the same way. You know,
well, yeah, because people ask and they go, how do you like the expos and all the talking and everything? And it's like, I have my two sides. I really charge up, I guess you would say, before an expo.
Yeah.
And then I give it everything I got at the expo. And it's so beneficial to me, which I didn't understand as a kid. I've always been very respectful, and I listen to every single person, and I stay in that booth until the last person sees me. But I didn't realize how much that would trigger a fuel in me and kind of make my love for this blossom.
Yeah.
And when you hear these people's stories and how you did something that changed them, and they've never even talked to you, just because you love it, it's an amazing thing. And I'll tell you, I think, if I'm correct, will you let me know this? You guys, Titan Medical, will be at the Olympia this year in Florida.
1,000,000%. Orlando, baby. Can't wait. First week of November.
First weekend of November. Is there any kind of special events going on? What can they do or expect to see out of the Titan Medical team?
So obviously, we're going to be doing a ton of giveaways. We'll have 3 different locations in Olympia, 2020 booth, you know, a big island booth, which we always have. We'll have one of the Titan cars out there with another bikini Titanette, and then another one in the anti-aging pavilion. But, you know, what they're able to see, they're going to see a ton of Titans. They're going to see a ton of us out there repping, be able to talk, take pictures. Like I said, we're going to give away a ton of stuff. I mean, it's like probably like $40,000 or $50,000 worth of giveaways, I think, just at that, and T-shirts alone. So it's going to be a big one. I mean, I'm going to have some special guests there, hopefully, too, as well. So at that point, we'll be out there rocking and rolling. People get to meet, you know, people, get to talk about how Titan can help them, or if they don't know about Titan, we're gonna we're going to let them know, man. We're going to give them the Titan spiel and have them live the Titan lifestyle, hopefully very soon.
I love the mindset. My team here is asking, will the Hellcat be there? And if so, they are volunteering their drive time, and they would like to drive it to the show from the house. So just keep that in mind.
I got you. So I got one car I can take only to it. So it's up in the air what it's going to be, whether it be the Lambo Z06 or the Hellcat.
I don't. Yeah, man.
Or the other.
What would you say that's a dilemma? The Lambo or the Hellcat or the
Z06, right? But one of them will be there at full stance, but he might get some driving time. You never know.
I love it. Again, it's what's up, Doc? Wow. I love this. This house over here is incredible. And speaking of homes, I got all these monsters coming through this house constantly. And I had a discussion the other day with the 5-time world champion. And I was talking, and I keep realizing when I was such a young lad, I was around the greatest powerlifters in the world. Mm-hmm. And in my assumption, they were just strong guys. And that it's called, I guess you would call it, ignorant bliss. And I love that because I didn't know a 600 bench was a lot. I didn't assume it was because these guys were doing it. I didn't think a 900 deadlift was a lot.
Right.
So that's what they call that ignorant bliss. And I'm fine calling myself that. But now I jump forward to this and I got Paul White, Big Show, walking through the house.
Oh, wow.
I got these basketball players coming through the house. So I got these 7-footers all the time. I got these WWE wrestlers who are just monster humans.
Yeah.
Pro football players. I got MMA fighters. Rampage Jackson comes in here, picks up the little one. And I'm like, that was the light heavyweight champ of the world, Michael Bisping, all these champions.
Yeah.
And it's not about me, but it's about the influence on my little one. And you have a young, strapping stud of a son.
Yeah. Thank you.
As a parent, what are you doing to set him up to win? Are you giving him everything he's got? You're financially set.
Yeah.
Does he get anything, and everything he's got what is it?
So, I mean, for me, it's very hard, right? You want your kid to have everything, but you want them to be able to respect the dollar, because at that point, if they don't respect the dollar, they don't respect and they get everything they want. Then that could lead down a bad path. I've seen people, when I grew up, it was like that. And for him, I try to keep as much structure as possible. If he's doing what he needs to do, school-wise, he's doing his things in his room, making his bed before he leaves in the morning, doing everything he's doing right, then I'll reward him with some money, right? Because that's his job at that point in time. Now, when he gets older, he's going to have another job, and he's going to have to work for them and do whatever he needs to do for them to get paid. So that's what I do for him. As far as if he's doing all right, good grades, you're doing good, you're not getting in trouble, you're doing the things that me and mom are asking you to do, then, people will say, well, they should be doing that anyway. And I used to have to do it anyway. But, at that point, it's a different generation. And raising kids in this generation is a lot different, I think, than when I was raised, when you were raised. So it's a different environment. So I had to adapt my parenting skills to do this. But, as Peter's gotten older, he's getting better and better, more responsible, doing what he needs to do. The work ethic's coming along a lot more, because obviously I was scared, when he was younger, he was like, they're kids. I think of him because he's always been big as being older. So I've always treated him like that. And so is his mother. So at that point, it's been a little bit different as far as that goes. And I think it's a good thing, but you got to keep them structured. I think structures, and you got to keep them busy. So, the idle hands are the devil. So at that point, you got to keep them in sports. You get them into it young. This gets them social. This gets them active. This sets goals for them to be competitive in life, because life is a competition. As much as people don't want to say it, leaving all the free trophies out, right? But it is. It's a competition. Who's going to make the most?
I have to stop you for 1 second, because I was putting up something my team was this morning, and I said it to the 5-time champ, and he said something like, remember, it's always you against you. And I said no champion ever.
Right.
Stop that. I get the concept. It is you against you mentally, that you should always push yourself, but it's a competition. It's you against the world.
Of course. And you got to do your best to do what you want to do in life, whether it's be a world champion bodybuilder, or you're going to be the tech guy of the world like Elon Musk, you know, and you're going to do things like that. But you know, you got to have competition. Competition is good. If you don't have competition, then you know what makes somebody have the drive and motivation to really want to hit that level. You know, you don't get that. So you got to have that drive. You know, I think that, you know, teaching kids like that, like structure and having them have the drive to be competitive, I think that's a benefit, because anybody that's not competitive, like, oh, I'm not worried about it. They can win, or they can. Those people aren't going to amount to very big things unless they've already been given these things in life. So, you know, that's the best thing I can say for you. If you're raising a kid, be structured. You know, you don't got to be mean to be structured, but you got to be firm. You know, that's the big thing. If you tell them they can't do something and they do it, then you got to punish them. If you don't give the punishment, then they're going to understand, oh, well, I can do this and get away with this. And then they're going to keep pushing the limits. That's how it is too. And that's in life as we get older. If you're a walkover and people just walk all over you, they're going to be able to do that. They're going to push it to the farthest extent that they possibly can. You know, and that's a big thing we get in business and what we're doing. We've been doing for life too. Like, you get some people out there, you have to be cautious. You have to be, you know, you got to be watching your back at all times, I guess, to a certain extent.
Well, that being said, you did say that, and I agree with you. Just so you understand, there's still things that I realize that as a father, I'm going to learn so much more. So I'm going to ask you from time to time on this. But one thing I do believe in, and if I can set him up in a way to where he is always the white belt in the room, no matter what aspect he's doing.
Yep.
From sports to learning, if he's always the on the bottom, so he can rise and continue to have competition. It's an age thing for most humans when they're young. I want to be on the baseball team. I want to be on the football team. I want to make the wrestling team. I want to be straight A's in class. I want to be on the dean's list. There's a lot of competition, and kids seem to have that, and it's a very common thing. And I think that in today's world, there's a lot of people, fathers like you and me, that believe that the child needs that.
Absolutely.
Why do we lose that? And the reason I say, if you can, is what you do is allow the person to get back in the game. And so would those two go together, going, hey, I want to start compete. I want to be a better. So if you can you talk to me about trying to keep that competition, that competitiveness going, and what you guys do at Titan Medical and how you can make that possible?
Sure. So I always want to keep the competitiveness going. Obviously, when we're kids, you know, everything is like, listen, we're dreaming. This is what we want to do. You know, through life, I think people get beat down, or they get told no, or something bad happens and they stop doing these things. You know, and even as we get older, you know, as we start, you know, declining our hormones, these things in our body, and we start aging and declining, that could take away some of that drive and motivation too for competitiveness too as well. And be unmotivated and depressed and down and not want to achieve anything, you know, and you've had all these dreams your whole life to do it. So at that point, you know, we can help out as far as that goes, you know, getting your hormones back on track, getting you feeling better about yourself. The self-confidence is there. And that usually motivates people to want to do what they were doing before or previously, or get back to some of the hobbies or interests that they had. You know, if you have somebody that's been playing basketball their life, and as they start getting older, they don't want to play basketball anymore, you got to ask them, hey, why? You know, I just don't feel like doing anymore. Well, you've been doing this your whole life. You'd be telling, if somebody told me like you, and you're like, oh, you know, I just don't feel like working out anymore. I'm like, what? Why? You know, I know you've been doing this for this many years. Like, what all of a sudden has changed? And I think, you know, people need to look at that and say, hey, listen, if I'm unmotivated and I feel depressed and I have all these other issues, energy, and, you know, I got belly fat I can't get rid of, and I just feel down about myself, that's, you know, that should be your inkling to, hey, listen, maybe I should get a blood test. Let me look at some different things that are going on inside. Maybe there's something that can fix me that, you know, at this point can be beneficial for me in my health and my mental state, and help you be motivated through life. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you know, I don't think I've ever lost the motivation aspect of things ever in my life. It's always been driving. It's always the next goal, right? You achieve the next goal and you keep moving on. You achieve that one and that one and that one and go forth.
And the goal doesn't always have to be a physical thing.
No, definitely not. It could be, hey, listen, I want to get this promotion at my job. You know, I want to do some nice things throughout the day for somebody. And this could be anything across the board. So, you don't want to just put it to the physical aspect, but, mentally, like, hey, listen, I want to read 10 books. Listen, that's a good challenge. People read, that will help them too. Mentally, as far as that goes. There's great research on that. Reading anything. You don't have to be a book. You read articles, magazines, whatever it is, but, getting that self-improvement too as well, along the way. We're here on Earth for this much time, right? We don't know how much time we have. So learn as much, do as much as you possibly can, get as much experience, and really feel, what life has to give, because some of these people are so sheltered or so in tune to this little area, and they've never went outside this area. They've never traveled. They've never experienced different things and cultures or anything like that. They're doing themselves a disservice. And, like I said, you don't know how much time you have. So at that point, you want to blow it out of the water every day. And I know you feel the same way because you get up early as hell every single day, and you're always hitting the grind. I mean, and that's the exact same way I am, and Sharice is. And there's people out there like that, but there's a lot of people that are missing that, and they want it. Some people want it, and some people don't. I don't say.
So would this be a good sign then, mentally? Because it seems, and I'm around. I'm blessed to be around the greatest of the greats. But it seems like there's even a level between them. There's a level that Robbie Robinson has, Frank Zane, Arnold Schwarzenegger. These guys, there's a reason why those three are like these pinnacle, like Robbie almost breaks my hand every workout because he's so pumped up after the set and he hits it. He's like, let's go. And I'm like, well, and again, this is an 80-year-old man. And the reason I say this is because it seems as though, and I know life's not easy, and I know it's not one of these things. You do get injured. You do get older. It does hurt. Body changes. But there comes a point where they're going, I just don't do that no more. I don't want to do that. That's not me. And it feels like there's maybe something if somebody that has competed and then just lost it and goes the other way, that's a mindset that they should go, hey, wait a minute. Maybe that is not how I really feel. It's not the age. It's just how my body and my mind is playing with me right now. Let me get the blood work.
Right.
And find out if there's something off there. Because I know how, if the numbers are so bad or even just slightly bad, how it plays with your mind.
Yeah, definitely mental aspect to hormones, different things like that. As far as that goes, I mean, like I said, a lot of people, they go to their general practitioner because they feel down, depressed, and there's nothing to be depressed about. They have erectile dysfunction. They have these signs of low testosterone. The general practitioner doesn't recognize that, and at that point, wants to solve the problem. So the problem is going to get solved by prescribing different medications to relieve the symptoms. So when we talk about that, we talk about Viagra, we talk about antidepressants, and they go away from that. When, listen, they might have just needed the hormones corrected, and this could have got the symptoms away, basically, and you're really getting to the root of the problem instead of masking the problem, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does, because I did a great podcast with a doctor, a very reputable, a high-end doctor in the sense of just experience and being in the trenches and works with the greatest. And he talked about how a lot of athletes, when they do have messed up hormones, how depressed they get, how moody they get, how angry they get, how they can't control their attitude, their temperament. And it's like, wow, they don't even know it because they're living it.
Right.
Or they think that maybe this is just the way you get old and grumpy. That's all of us just get old and grumpy. And it's like, that's not really the case.
No. And we call low testosterone the old grumpy man syndrome. So that
wow. Okay.
So that goes right along with it. And that's why old grumpy old men are usually like that. They usually have low testosterone.
Okay. This might explain Billy Gunn and Heath Evans to me. They're both grumpy old men. So that's great.
So, at that point, it's something you really have to look at, and you have to decide, like, listen, do I want the best for my body? Do I want my body to work optimal? And finding out, being educated about what's going on. Like I said, we talk about this all the time about running diagnostics on yourself. You take your car into run diagnostics, you put your computer through diagnostics. All these different things are getting maintenance except for yourself. And that's something that you really need to, take into consideration, because there's a lot of wear and tear you can put on the body through the years. And as you do that, you want to make sure you maintenance it up and fix things, restore, repair, rejuvenate, revitalize.
All right, so I would like to transition into something you just said and go here for today because I think this is a great point. Um, I work with a lot of people, and not everybody is ready to get going on the full nutrition and dice and slice and train with volume because they have injuries. And the reason I say this is I know that you have some shoulder issues.
Sure.
And you just did a check-in, and you guys can go over to, and I'll post John's page here. So he did a check-in, or like, hey, this is where I'm at today.
Right.
And you put yourself on film, and you put yourself out there and said, this is what I'm looking like right now, which I think is, first of all, awesome.
Thanks, dude.
Just awesome too, because twofold. You're checking to show what you've done, but also you're checking yourself because I know your personality.
Of course.
You're going, hey, I need to be, if I'm doing this company, you feel like me in a sense, or you think like me in a sense, because if you're going to do this company, you better freaking look good.
That's right.
So, I mean, why am I going to go to somebody that runs a hedge fund or $1 million company and he lives in an apartment? It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it does not make sense.
So you have an incredible physique. You do get your workouts in periodically. You're not a full-time bodybuilder.
No, I wish.
But you're still training with some minor injuries, or for you and me, we'll call them owies. But for most people, those are physical injuries that would stop people from training.
Yeah. So a lot of people, I have 2 slap tears in both shoulders. Stage 3, superior labrum, anterior and posterior tears. It's from wear and tear through the years, baseball, football, all this stuff, growing up. And then, like I said, at that point, going into working out and really hitting as much as I possibly could. And obviously, when you start really pushing it, sometimes injuries happen. And that's what happened to me. So at that point, I'm dealing with those with BBC 157 and TB 500. I'm also introduced IGF-1. LR3 into the regimen.
That's correct. You got IGF-1, right? LR3?
Yes, sir.
So, and that is back at Titan Medical. So if people are looking for that, and that's something you could do, correct me if I'm wrong, before a workout and also at nighttime.
That's correct. Yep. You can take it in the morning. You can take it at night. You can take it before workouts. And at that point, I just had a hernia, repair. So I'm trying to throw everything I possibly can at the hernia repair. So I'm really going up as far as dosages in BBC 157, TB 500, and I'm taking the IGF-1 the exact same way. So, hopefully I'll repair quicker. I don't really have a lot of pain through this, which is a blessing. And with my shoulders, I'm really cautious now on what I'm doing as far as benching. I'm still benching like 275, like a regular. So it's not, not crazy weight, but it's enough where, hey, listen, I always put myself in real life scenarios when I like to train. So if I'm pushing 275 off me, the 275-pound guy I have to push off me, right? And if you're doing, lat pull down, whatever it is, it's a real life scenario. So that's kind of how I think about things when I train. But it is what it is. I can do this without causing any more injury or further hurting myself. And as long as I can do that, I'm good. But with BBC 157 T500, because I sleep on my shoulders, and that in itself can cause shoulder impingements and all these other things that could cause you to hurt really bad. And with that, I take it in the morning. I feel like I'm good to go. When I do my training session, I'm good to go. I'm obviously down for 5 weeks still for training because of this hernia surgery. So, I'm worried about my physique and what it's going to be. But obviously, with me, my diet's clean. So that's one thing I don't ever have to worry about.
Then this is what I'd really like to dive into, and I want the people out there to listen to this, because when people are in a situation of injury or they have to take time off from the gym, they stop everything.
Yeah.
They even tell me, I have clients that go, well, there's no point. I'm not going to train, so I'm not going to need you right now. And I'm like, son, that is the most important time when you need me.
That's right.
And it is a confusing thing that people think when everything's great, that's when I need a coach. When I can do the workouts, when I can do the nutrition, when everything's perfect, that doesn't make you the champ. It's the craziness that you're in right now going, all right, I don't want to explain this. I want you to explain this. So how are you over this next 9 weeks? Let's take this next 9 weeks. because you guys are going to represent and come to the Olympia. What are you going to do, and how are you going to set up the next 9 weeks? You're just going to start eating pizza and stuff right now because you're not training?
So for me, I'm very consistent. I eat the exact same thing every day, and that just doesn't stop. Like, I like to eat what I eat. So I think that's the big thing people need to wrap their heads around. You eating clean is not a bad thing. It's not a chore. It's not something you should look down upon. It's something you should embrace and be like, hey, listen, this is going to help me get the body that I want. This is going to help my body work optimally, right? I'm getting the good things in and I'm not putting the bad things in. That's the biggest thing I can take out of it. You got to be consistent. I mean, so I've been consistent eating like this for a long time. So if anything, it's just going to get even more stricter, because I would eat cookies here at night, you know, a cinnamon roll here or there. But at that point right now, I'm worried about, hey, listen, I need to be focused. I need to be 100% clean right now. And at that point, when I can get in, then I'll start working out lightly and then kind of go up and ramp up before the 9 weeks is done. So if I'm planning this correctly, I might have 3 to 4 weeks of training. So at that point, it's going to be pretty intense training. I'm going to try to train every single day and get my day, maybe a day off on Sunday. But that's what I'm going to plan, because obviously Olympia is like Super Bowl fitness, right? And this is where
everyone come in
from around the world. And at that point, they're going to put you underneath the microscope even more than they have before. You know, this is not my first rodeo at Olympia. You know, we've done, you know, I think 3 years now, 4 years. So, you know, and I want to meet everybody in my best shape. I don't want to look bad. You know, nobody wants to look bad, but like at this point, like I represent every day online. You know, when somebody comes, they want to take a picture, they talk to me, they're like, man, that doesn't look like dude online at all. I don't want that. I always want to look better than when I look at a picture. So when you see me in person, you're like, man, you look better. You look better in person than you do in your pictures.
I love that. That's my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
Because people think of me as a bodybuilder or something, and then they don't realize I'm a gladiator. I was an athlete.
Right.
And so then they meet me in person and go, oh, sheesh, you're a tall, big boy.
Right. Right. Yeah, dude, you're forced to be reckoned with, you know. And at that point, people get that, and they get that live presence. It's like, oh, wow, you know, and that's what it's all about. So, you know, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay consistent in my eating. I'm going to stay consistent, and I'm upgrading some of my different therapies that I'm doing right now. So hopefully when I can heal faster. That's the main thing. And then at that point, be able to go full at it and have a decent foundation when I come out of it and be able to train. And I think 3 to 4 weeks, I can pump up a little bit, you know, as far as that goes. It's not my first rodeo doing that either.
So correct me if I'm wrong. The mentality here is not to get ready for the Olympia over the 9 weeks. Like start now and get ready. It is next 3-4 weeks. Let's stay on nutrition so we can keep the best there. Right. Let's get the rest and recovery so we can let the body heal. Yep. Let me stay as close to that starting line so when I am let off the leash, I can go crazy.
Right.
But let's heal the body by utilizing Titan Medical. Yep. And then I can go into the training and everything. And I wish more people would think that way, because then you get to go. You're set at the gate to when the doctor says go to it. You're like, good. I got 4 weeks to be ready. I'm ready.
Yep. And just increase, intensify things.
That's a great mentality to have, but I think that's why you're at where you're at, and now you look the way you do, because you're not 25.
No, definitely
not. But you look it. So it's like you keep doing things the very best in the situation that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
And people seem not to think that way. They think, well, it's not right yet. It's not the good time. And that silly little quote is true. It's never the right time.
It's never the right time for anything, whether it's having kids or eating clean or doing what you need to do. You got to do it. And that's the thing. If you sit back with injuries and you go into calorie surpluses every day, you're going to gain weight. Okay, this is a fact. And if they're really bad calories and not good calories, you're going to gain even more bad weight. So if you're sitting around, you're eating donuts all day, you better believe you're going to gain weight. I don't care what you're taking, because that's the other thing that people do. When they get injured or they get sick, they stop the regimens.
Yeah.
Why? You know, oh, I'm not going to the gym, so I don't need my testosterone. Testosterone for the gym, listen, that's a benefit, man, going to the gym and getting the benefits of testosterone. But physically, you're putting your body through a roller coaster ride. It's going up, and now it's coming down. And all these good things that you were putting in your body to flourish and nourish it, you've taken away. So now your body's really fighting for what it needs to get healthier or heal better. And this could affect the immune system and other things too. So that's the first thing I tell people. I'm like, listen, just because you're sick doesn't mean you stop your stuff. If you want to kick back on a couple things, that's fine. But your foundation there, you want to make sure everything is optimal. So your body's working optimal for you.
So you're eating great, especially right now because you're making sure to stay on point.
Right.
How does that help the family?
I feel like I can only lift 2 pounds right now, and Therese and them are not letting me lift anything else. So at that point, I feel kind of a little helpless at that point because I'm the one that does everything around the house, like lifting or anything like that. But it does help the family in light that, listen, I'm going to be able to give my best to them. I always like to set the example for my son that this is the way that I eat. You should be able to eat like this too as well. And you'll get there. I mean, because you're setting the example for them. If they see you eat McDonald's, why can't they eat McDonald's? Right? And I wouldn't want to eat McDonald's anyway at this point. But at that point, I want to show them that eating clean is the best way to do it. But physically, it'll help me get back on track, and I won't feel as down. So I think the positive attitude and affirmation to my family will be a benefit. But yeah, that's kind of what it is. I mean, I think the healthier I am, the better off my family is.
Does Peter, your son's name is Peter?
Yeah.
How does he watch you eating the chicken and rice kind of mentality? Does he watch that and go, well, if dad's doing that and dad's my superhero, I'm going to start doing that too. Yeah. And then obviously the missus, I think we have a couple great ones.
Yes,
but
we do.
Does she kind of watch you eating good? Well, if you're eating this right now, then I'll stay with you and do the same.
Yeah. For my son, he's starting to come around, so he sees what I'm doing. And I think he's starting to, he wants to start gaining the muscle now. So now the mentality is starting to get there because you can tell somebody or do something for somebody all the way to the point where you can't make them do it.
Yeah.
You give them everything. But if they don't do it, then it's just not going to happen. So for him, he's starting to come around because he wants to gain muscle for baseball and everything like that. His coach has them lifting every single morning. So at that point, I'm like, listen, that's great. I was kind of like, they got to get up at 5:30, go work out before school. But as long as he can keep his grades, I think it's great because he's forcing him to work out, which is a great thing. I think that's good. It's going to apply more structure to him. But him eating, now the nutritional things come around. I'm making him drink a protein shake before he goes to bed. So it's all about setting those habits for him and doing it. So I think, that's keeping him motivated. As far as Therese goes, she's changed, since the first time I met her. She was smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. She was eating McDonald's 3 times a day. So she was drinking Coke, 3 or 4 cans a day. And she doesn't do any of that now. So I changed her for the good part of that. She cheats a little bit more than she should. But I think that her eating habits have definitely benefited from me being around and me being what I do.
Here's the thing for the people watching this. She has her cheat meals and stuff, but to the common Joe, he's pretty darn good. Yeah. I think most people have cheat days every day.
Yeah. All day.
Yeah, all day, every day. And it's cool to see. And it doesn't happen instantly. And I think it's so good to make a point of that even though your son sees you doing this, it just doesn't happen overnight. Yeah. But your continuous success of you doing it the way you're going to do it, you're not going to change.
Yeah,
this is who you are. You're eating like this and training like this for the next 40 years.
Definitely. As long as I can go, I'm definitely going to be doing it for sure. I mean, listen, steak is my favorite meal. So I'll eat steak every single meal if I had to. If anybody says, would you ever get sick of steak? Definitely not. As long as I can cook it or it's cooked good, I'm going to definitely eat it and chow it down. I don't need no seasonings or butter on it or anything like that. That's the other part about eating clean. A lot of people out there like, well, I have an advanced palate. Okay, you have an advanced palate.
An advanced palate. Please explain what that is.
So a palate is like your taste buds.
Right.
As you advance your palate, you can eat different foods from different places per se, right? Things that you never ate before, and this could be a delicacy to you. And you're a foodie, so you take it, and you eat it, and you're absorbing it, and you're feeling it, whatever. And at that point, like I'm just not like that. For me, I look at food. This is energy. This is what I need to put in the gas tank for me to go 1,000,000 miles an hour. So I need to get this fuel in my gas tank as fast as possible so we can start utilizing it. But for that, I tell people all the time, I'm like, listen, less is better as far as condiments, or you can put some seasoning on here or there, but when you start involving sauces and all these different things, you're adding some of those bad calories possibly back into the mix. There's some good ones out there, so I'm not going to knock all of them, but I like more brand for me, the better, because I know exactly what I'm putting in the body at that point, and I'm being more precise than ever. So if I can do that, that's the way I like to roll.
Yeah, for everybody out there, understand this. He eats clean, but he also allows himself to enjoy, because I got to hang out with these guys, and let me just say, wow. Yeah. Wow. But we got to do that because of what we do every other day.
Right.
And so it's kind of, again, we talked about your goals or celebrations or fun things to do. Yes. And it's fun that we get to have those days where we eat and enjoy like that. But then the rest of the time you look the way you do, which is a huge reward for the discipline you've created.
You set yourself in the environment where you're doing it majority of the time, 9 out of 10 times, right? And you can have that cheat meal. You don't have to worry about it. People think that getting back in shape, like, they're going to be able to do half and half. Like, listen, you've already put your body through so many years of this torture per se, or, negligence of not, feeding like you should and training like you should. It's going to take that time to get back into it. And you got to be committed during that time. And that's what I think, some people, they'll get committed. If they see results, maybe they'll stay committed. Some people, they get to a certain point like, oh, I made it. And then they go back to doing what they were doing before. I'm like, damn, dude, like, you were there, and then you just, regressed. I was there. I hit my goal weight. Well, that's awesome. We hit the goal weight. What's the next goal, right? Instead of, oh, I've already achieved it. I'm already at the top of the mountain. Now I'm just going to scurry on down the mountain because I'm done.
One of the big things I want these guys to know is today's talk was, I love where it went and what we talked about. But one of the big things is I would love you guys to take away that, an HRT company in today's world is not just the one aspect. It's not just about, hey, get on testosterone. Right. It is not that. And we've been talking about this the whole time here today, is that we have somebody who's running the business. It's his company that's utilizing it right now to heal the body from injuries. Now, that's a huge thing, because I know everybody out there right now is going, well, all a HRT company is one ice. It's not even close. You're healing the body to be better so you can go train and do life. So for anybody out there that's got injuries and got those kind of things, just do a talk with Titan Medical and see if they can help you. See if there's something there that can get you moving in the right direction. And I went about this with my buddy Bobo, who's in town right now. And I had Bobo contact you guys.
Yep.
And now we're training together. We got the 5-time world champion. You got the 4-time Mr. Universe. And then we have Bobo. Bobo's great.
Yeah.
What I loved is the discussion we got into that I think we'll be putting up this week is he's still in the fight. He's still training. Even though he has 2 bad knees and a bad shoulder, he's still squatting with us. Mm-hmm. And what I loved about that is that the hope that he can get better, the hope that he can get in shape at his age, all these kind of things compared to the person that's going and maybe sitting in the same position you are. I got 2 bad shoulders. I got a bad back, a bad knee. I'm done. I'm wrapping it. That's my life. I'm over with. I played basketball in college and now I have 2 bad knees. I'm done. And that's not the case. And it doesn't have to be the case.
Definitely not. And you got to think of yourself. I go back to the car thing again. If you keep a car and it sits and sits and sits, majority likely something's going to happen as far as it's not going to run properly. If you keep running the car, maintenance the car, it's going to run a lot longer. It's going to give you a lot more miles, and it's going to, it's going to take care of you. So, you got to be active. You got to stay active. Even when you're older, they tell the elderly, do the bands, stay active, because the more inactive you are, you're prepping and you're going to die faster. It is what it is. The more active you are, you're going to probably have a longer lifespan. So, I encourage everybody, depending on whatever injury you have, there's always a workaround. You got to find the person that can help you do that workaround. Whether it's PT and physical therapy, or you find a great, coach or trainer. These people can help, people, be active, keep some of their muscle that they have, because as we get older, if you're not taking some of these different things, you're going to lose a lot of muscle mass too as well. So that's the best thing I can say. Stay active. Whatever injury is, don't let it get you depressed and get down. Try to fix as best as possible. And then, if you can use the peptides, awesome, but stay active. You got to stay active.
Stay active the best you possibly can.
Yeah.
That being said, I know that you did. I got to get my movie reference or suggestion this week.
Yeah.
You guys went and saw Liam Neeson's new movie.
Yes. It was pretty good. Liam Neeson's always a great actor. I've never met him in person. I know you said you did, but he seems like just one of those stand-up guys. Even some of the things he says to the press, that's him being him. But every movie he's in, it's that character that takes charge, that don't mess with me type attitude, right? And always gets the job done, whatever movie it is. And obviously, Taken was one of my favorite movies with him in it. But he's been in so many other great movies, and he's such a great actor. And this one was just the same. He plays that role, and it was pretty good. Liam always gives a good performance.
I could see an action movie and over and over and over. So it's like I love him. So we'll put that on the list to go see that.
Definitely.
That being said, what am I? October 13th is red carpet for me.
Oh
yeah,
yes,
yeah. So we have Divinity come, and it's picking up hype. We did great at Sundance for that one.
Yeah.
But it's picking up hype. But I'm October 13th, so we're getting closer and closer. And I started prep, I guess maybe 4 weeks ago. I think it is.
Yep.
And I love this blood work that I just did. I love where the body's going, and I love that I got this little bit more time to continue to tighten up and get ready.
Yeah.
But for you guys at home, I think I'm going to jump on to the TB and the BP for any kind of possibilities, anything in the shoulders and knees and stuff, just kind of get a treatment.
Yep.
How long does it take for you to notice or for it to work?
So noticing it, like for me, like I said, when I wake up and I've been sleeping my shoulders and they start hurting really bad. I'll inject in my shoulders, and at that point, I get some pretty much instant relief as far as inflammation. If it's an injury and stuff like that, usually we say 6 to 10 weeks. At that point, you've given yourself a pretty good treatment. Now, people can go up on their dosages, and this could expedite treatment as far as a result. But the dose we put people on usually works pretty well for them, depending on whether it's a knee or an elbow or golf, tennis elbow or whatever it may be. It could be, problems in their knees. I've had pretty much every kind of problem you possibly see, even with wound healing. So after you get surgeries where I've had, people have got a motorcycle accidents where they had road rash on 30% of their body. So they took it and they healed faster. The doctor was like, "What are you taking? Because you've healed faster than what we expected you to." And she was running BPC and she was applying topically too as well. So to the wound, putting it on top. I don't know if that works any better, but it is going direct contact. But the injecting portion, which I know works, is what she used majority of the time. And like I said, I've got the testimonial, so it's really cool. It happened probably about 3 years ago. But I've had so many different people, so many different injuries where it's helped them and recover a lot faster than what they thought too. The doctors were kind of amazed. I've had a couple of doctors call me that were treating these patients and like, "Hey, listen, can I do this for my other patients? And how do I set this up?" So, I'm like, "Yeah, sure. You can send it to us. We'll take care of it. And we can, copy in the note. At that point, we'll be involved."
Seems like peptides are just like this whole new, and I don't want to go into it. We talked enough today, but it's just like, it's such a amazing thing that we continue to heal the body with something like this.
Yes.
And I know they've been around for a long, long time. We just, the research maybe wasn't there or society wasn't aware to them.
Yeah, it's everything that needs to catch on, right? Like even, hormone replacement. Like I said, 11 years ago now, people looked at me sideways and thought I was crazy to even think about opening a hormone replacement therapy clinic. I'm a legal drug dealer
now.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I say to them. Like, look, you told me, I was going to fail. This is us failing. So, take it for what it is. But at that point, there's been so many new things that have been coming out and people are starting to get more aware and they're getting more educated about these things. And peptides have been around. Like I said, Summerlin's been around for a long time. But these newer peptides, and this is where it's really gaining traction. There's more research getting done on these things. And the more research that gets done, and the more people that talk about it, the more providers are educated about these different things, the more options people have on the table for what they can help themselves with. And it might help them from not having surgery. It might help their skin better. It might help their sleeping problems or whatever else is going on. Or it can help you lose weight. I mean, there's all kinds of different possibilities with peptides, and there's just so many different new things that are coming out. So, Western medicine is probably 10 years behind anywhere else, whether it's Europe or South America or whatever it may be. They just are. They don't work in that light, and they don't really want to get into different things that they don't want to do. You have so many doctors, the older ones, they're so set in their ways, and they think they know everything. And that's not the right way to be. And the younger doctors are more open, right? They want to learn, and they're coming across all these new different treatments and applying these to the patients instead of a 60-year-old doctor saying, "Hey, listen, I've been doing this for 30-something years. You can't tell me what I'm going to do and what's better for my patients." Well, listen, you're not being open-minded. You're not giving your patients all the options on the table. When you talk about fatty liver, that's one of the biggest things that can be corrected out there. And I see so many ads for fatty livers, and at that point, people, they go to a general practitioner. The general practitioner doesn't do anything for the fatty liver except for tell them to change their diet. Don't be eating fatty foods, fried foods, and it should help. But at this point, their liver is not working optimal, which is the filter to their body. And with a little bit of glutathione, these liver functions would be going down into normal reference ranges, and their body would be optimally working and filtering things like it should. And filtering things is not just what you're intaking. But you're talking about, processing fats and stuff like that faster through the liver too as well. The more optimal everything is, the more your body's going to run better all the way around. It's like you're running a race. You got to go in there and fix everything up, and then hit the track again.
Hey, Mo, I got a question for you for John. Will you kind of tell him about we went and got a EKG yesterday.
Yep.
Checking up myself, checking my blood work. My blood work was what was it? 116/67.
Gotcha. That's good. That's good.
And I'm got a competition right now against Stan Efferdin.
Okay.
Yeah. And I know that we've had these battles, he and I, through the years, squat off, deadlifts, benching, all these things. But right now we have a competition to see who can get to a 115/60. First. And again, neither of us are doing any kind of blood pressure medicine or anything. We're really trying to do it just off of healthy eating and training.
Yep.
Now, with that being said, what is the scan?
I haven't yet.
See if he knows about this, because this is a whole new thing, and I want to talk about this next time. But I just want to let you know, or everybody out there, because you're talking about fatty liver and stuff like that.
Yep.
And I know that that's something that you have to go through your doctor, or you used to have to go through your doctor to get approved to go get a scan or a.
You get an MRI scan of the liver, and you can see what it looks like. Usually,
or an ultrasound to look at it as well.
You do an ultrasound too as well. MRI and ultrasound. You start getting into that stuff like the heart. You can start doing echocardiograms. Like I said, next time you're down, I'm going to try to arrange for this cardiovascular surgeon to do these tests in office on us. They said are more advanced. You can do right there on the spot in the office. So I'm curious to really get with him on that and to see. But there's definitely more testing than ever in diagnostics that you can do to really see where you stand. And
there's no excuse. There's no more excuses for checking to make sure that you're doing good and stuff, and younger. And that's what's I think interesting. Anytime I put something up, they always reference my age relative to some of these guys that are passing away in their 40s. One of these WWE guys was just late 30s, and it's like, get this taken care of, check your bodies. And then again, today, I think if anybody can take something away from today besides Johnny's mindset and the work ethic he has today, which is still, if not worse, in the sense of he will not stop than 10 years ago. It's cool to see that.
Same mentality, same old G, man. Never thought, we would be to this point. So, ever I'm grateful for every day. I feel blessed every day to do what I'm doing. And at that point, like I said, I never know when the bottom's going to fall out. So at that point, I'm just going to work my ass off, keep my head down, and just keep grinding until the ride's over. And at that point, I can say, listen, I gave it a 1,000,000% of what I got. Sharice is giving 1,000,000+% of what she's got. And, we've tried our best to do what we want to do and be successful at doing it. And at that point, we'll see where the journey takes us.
We talked about that mindset that he has, that we have always talked about. The whole family has it.
Yeah.
All right. So what is this?
This is called lifeguard imaging.
Okay.
So lifeguard imaging, I don't know where to put the words. Camera.
I'll talk to him about it.
Yeah.
So it's a scan from the brain all the way down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and this is something that somebody can just go do without the doctor and out of pocket.
Yeah.
And it's not too expensive.
That's cool.
So it's an interesting thing. It's like these body scans that you can do for the DEXA scan. I mean, for your muscle and fat.
Yep.
There's so many new things that you can do, and then head on over with that information and talk to Titan Medical. If there's issues that you have a fatty liver, if there's something going on there, talk to these guys. And you get your shoulders and knees and back fixed too.
Yeah, you can get all that fixed. And, if you want more bedroom pleasure, I mean, we cover it all, man. And so a lot of people, the other thing is a lot of people are vitamin D deficient. I tell it to everybody across the board. A lot of people are like, what? I go out in the sun all the time. I definitely don't have vitamin D deficiency. And I would bet, I'm not a betting guy, so I don't like to gamble. So when I go to Vegas, I don't gamble. I'm not a gambler. I like to bet on a sure thing. The only way I can do that is if I set it up myself or I know what's going to happen. And at that point, I know like at least 8 out of 10 people, when they come back with vitamin D, they're usually deficient. You were pretty good, I think. I was good after taking supplementation, but before that, I was even low on vitamin D. And vitamin D is a hormone. It's not a vitamin. So at that point, a lot of different functions that could play in the body too as well. As far as
I love it, man. Thank you for taking time today.
Always. I love it, guys. I love it.
I appreciate this so much, man. And again, guys, Titan Medical will be at the Olympia, and we're going to be hogging him up every week from here on Tuesdays for you guys out there that ever have any kind of questions about HRT, TRT. And remember, it's not that one dimension no more. This is something that's so many aspects of life.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you, Johnny.
I appreciate you too, Mike. Thank you, guys. Appreciate all you guys. Thank you.
Guys, man, I hope if you guys do have, like today, if you have little injuries or owies and stuff and think about peptides to heal that, do any kind of research you want, basic research online. We'll kind of talk to you about what's going on with peptides. And I'm going to try to see what's going on with this stuff as well, because I've studied this since January 1st this year. And so I want to see preventative. If I did the PRP, I want to do the stem cell. If the peptides can help, I want to try that and see if I cannot continue to heal the body before something happens. That's the main thing for me, that I can keep doing this. All right, you crazies. Jeffrey, is there any kind of final questions you got for these guys?
Normal, regular questions. If you want to hit a couple.
Yeah, as long as we're here.
There was something about how bodybuilders train now. And if you think that the intensity and the high frequency they're doing is setting them up for failure in the long run. There's something.
Let's try to find that. Okay, we're going to try to find this question. If you want to ask it again while we're looking for this. How bodybuilders, I don't understand. Okay.
Let me find it. This is a different one while I wait there. Let me ask, if a person over 50 hasn't been exercising and lifting in many years, is there any risk of injury? Do we have to go slow, and what changes so we can go heavy again?
It doesn't matter that you're 50 or 25. You should always start out slow. Age is irrelevant for anything. You don't start sprinting, even if you've ran your whole life. You start jogging slowly and start moving up into a sprint. Everything starts slow and then move quicker and stuff. You will, which is great. The strength is the first thing that comes back, and you have memory muscle. So if you have trained well and you have been much stronger, you'll be surprised how fast your strength does come back, which is great. But don't get confused. This is what a lot of people say. I've been back training for a month and I'm just as strong as I used to be. That's going to be something, but it's the visual as well as that strength. All right. So be smart, get back into it. Take your time. This is never a rush, also, for anybody here. You would never start out something in a rush. You want to start slow and just continue to keep it moving slowly but forward. I don't know the other question that Jeffrey asked about.
Do you think too many modern fitness coaches and bodybuilding experts are working out too much and wearing out their bodies quicker than if they trained smarter?
Well, they think they're training smarter already.
They think they're already training.
Yeah, so that throws me a little bit because I don't know how. Doc, can you answer that one?
What's the question?
The question is, do you think too many modern fitness coaches and bodybuilding experts are working out too much and wearing out their bodies quicker than if they trained smarter?
It's possible. Define too many.
I think it's always kind of been that way. I think people were realizing more and more. It's not that it's smarter. It's just maybe it's less frequent. You got to find out what works for your bodies first and foremost. I love, why am I forgetting his name again? Nautilus.
Yeah, Arthur Jones.
Arthur Jones. I love Arthur Jones on his philosophy, and then Mike Mentzer took a lot of his philosophy. I think there is less is more, but unfortunately for a lot of us, we just love it so much. So it's tough to take days off. Yeah, but obviously training your body every single day, 6 days a week, all year long is too much. Be smart. Sorry about that one. It's a tough argument just because you want to train and I understand that passion for it.
This was kind of about the time when you guys were talking about when people get injured, they just stop.
Oh,
So somebody asked, could you share the importance of just getting up and doing something? I see a lot of people who struggle finding motivation in life, much less training. It's very sad.
Doc?
Active rest, that's number one. Also rehabilitation, and you want to do some type of healing. Do the massage, the chiropractic, whatever you got to do. Get the massage gun, get something, but you want to be able to, you get injured, whatever the issue is, keep doing something. You don't want to just stop because
You do a story?
put it like this. I heard before, it was a long time ago, they said that an object in motion ages slower than an object that's at rest. So if you think about your body the same way, if you're just not doing anything, you're deteriorating. You want to continue to do something. So you get injured, you get hurt, you got a setback, whatever it is, you have to continue to move and keep doing something because it's going to benefit you more than just sitting there and not doing anything at all.
I'm agreeing with Doc. So for anybody out there, because the question, I think, if I'm right, is why do they stop? Why do they? And again, this is not a non-common thing. I think everybody, when they get injured, they go, forget it. I'm injured. I'm going to eat what I want. Forget everything. And then they just lose all of it in the motivation. The importance, and I think like I was talking about with Bobo here, is that if you can keep moving even just a little bit and keep the understanding that you can't be 100 right there. Okay, I accept that. I'm not going to be 100%, but I am going to move as best I can forward to where when I am healed, when I am ready to go, I'm the best version of me at that point instead of having to rebuild the whole ship. Great question, though. Thank you for that. Doc is in town for
About another 30 minutes.
30 minutes. So it was nice to be able to see him over the weekend as well. What is it, Sunday he came by?
I think it was Sunday, yeah.
I think we squatted, right? Yeah, I think he came by on Sunday. He's down by Clark now, or in between me and Clark.
Mhm.
But he'll be up here next week because of Bobo's guests are coming into town, I think. Let's get another question, Jeffrey.
Right, aren't they though?
Do you see something too?
Let's see. Mm,
I'm trying to lose my belly fat. Are there exercises that are better than others? Fuck, why are you laughing, bro?
Okay, so it always brings me back to when people say, "Oh, well, you can't spot train or you can't spot lose weight," which in a sense is true. But if you really want to get technical, if you want to get bigger biceps, what do? You train your biceps. Okay, so if you're training your biceps, you'll probably have less arm fat around your biceps, right? Because what does muscle do? It burns fat while you're at rest. So yes, you do need to do the cardio. You do need to do the caloric deficit. You got to do all of those things, but you cannot just ignore doing any type of work around your core area. And I don't mean just your belly. I mean your entire core, your trunk. You have to work that area as well if you want to lose fat in that area. So
I'm with Doc. Try to do exercises when you're heavier that will help your range of motion before you get down to the really like the sit up, the little crunches and stuff like that. Crunches and all those are very hard off season, but leg lifts, hyperextensions for the lower back, like Doc is saying, get both sides going. If you got some good machines that really open you up and pull in, build that muscularity. So when you do get rid of the fat with the nutrition and the cardio and the training, you'll have some beautiful abs to go along with it.
How do I lift more than Doc?
you don't.
Get on a shitload of trend, Steve.
You don't.
Yeah, ain't gonna happen, my friend. I'm sorry.
Currently have 15.5-inch arms flexed. How do I grow them to at least 16.5? He wants that extra inch.
That's what she said.
I was just about to say that.
Oh, give me some. Bah! Guys, for any kind of muscle, biceps, legs, what's your recommendation here?
Increase the caloric intake, particularly the protein, and you want to do some work that's going to be more hypertrophic. You got to get those muscles to grow.
I'm good with that.
I was going to say synthol. But
Did you guys see on the Doctors? There's a TV show like The View, The Doctors, and all that stuff.
Right.
So there's a show called The Doctors, and they brought on a guy that had 21-inch arms.
Nice.
No, he has nothing else.
Right, of course.
Nothing else.
Did he have
No
the traps
shoulder,
too?
no forearm, no nothing.
He didn't shoot up the traps?
So they go, hey, I know a lot of people are saying that that's not muscle and stuff. So we did an ultrasound and it shows that it's all muscle and everything like that. And it's like he got the Guinness World Record to measure him. And I'm not sure the whole thing, but he fooled the Guinness World Record to say he's got the biggest arms.
Jeez.
But the Doctors itself, a show like that allows something like that to come on and goes, oh, so what is the trick? Well,
Wait,
they were saying
they were saying
this is legit.
He fucking got him?
He goes, yeah, I do 100-pound dumbbell curls,
Yeah, right.
and I'm going to try to find this guy. I'm going to try to find this guy. I swear, dude, his shoulders look like a sixth grade girl. And it was like, what are you doing bringing somebody on that is just straight synthol
How do
on
you
his body?
even get the bicep out of the rack with little bitty shoulders like that to curl it? It makes no sense.
I saw that, and I don't know who sent that. I shouldn't think Sean Ray sent me that, and I was just like, wow, they're filming this stuff, and they're acting straight. Hey, just keep a straight face today, okay? Why? Because this guy's gonna say he's got the biggest arms. Oh,
I know they roasted the shit out of him after the
well, he's
cameras
getting
were off.
destroyed online. I just love the fact. I'm like, that's made no sense. I don't mind you doing synthol if that's what you want to do, but there's some guys out there like beautiful arms that deserve better.
This guy, Egyptian guy?
Oh, did you find it?
I think so.
I gotta show you.
Guinness World Records has second thoughts about Franklin Mann's biggest arm. So it's probably that guy.
Yeah. Do you see a picture of him yet?
Mustafa Ismail. Let me find him.
Oh, so good. Doc, how's your eyesight?
Jeez.
Pretty good.
How obvious?
Bro, he's natural.
He's naturally shot up.
Right.
This guy?
There you go.
Oh, he's natural as fuck.
All right. Oh, Jeff, you're gonna have to put this up there.
Natural. Okay.
Yeah. It's amazing how he isolated so well on his arms that he got no shoulder development and no forearm development, but just arms. Good for him.
Daddy or not?
So he can spot reduce and spot build. I love it. Congratulations, Guinness World Records, for that one and for him.
Got him.
Got him. Where's that from?
So mean.
Yeah, is that? It's not Kevin Hart. That's
No, it's like
that-
some dude with teeth.
Oh, that's right. The
Yeah,
got him.
Yeah, nothing good there.
When to start bodybuilding after abdominal surgery?
Oh, I think it's 6 to 8 weeks after.
Yeah, we just talked about a little.
Yeah. He just had a hernia, and most likely it was because he started training too early. Yeah, you got to let that thing heal up before you start getting back to it. Listen to your doctor on that one. That's not something to play around with. We're going to leave it there, ladies and gentlemen, unless we got one final. What do you got there, Doc?
No, you already answered that one.
Okay.
Do you look at your heart rate at all when you're working out? Does it impact your lifts and resting, etc.?
I do on cardiovascular, but not on weight training. Yeah, but on cardio, I try to keep it between 116 and 125.
These questions like this, kind of hard to answer, buddy. 5'10", 135. Am I good? I'm only 15.
Good for what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just make sure that you're eating. You're at a great age. Eat,
That's
eat,
right.
eat. Kick butt, my man. You're young, so I'm proud of you that you're getting into it.
49 years old. I was 210. Now I'm 175. Want abs and become huge. Am I too old?
Well, first off, you already have abs because you went from 215, 210 to 175. So if you dieted down correctly, I'm assuming you got some abs, kiddo. Again, 49, great. I'm glad you're doing this, and I'm glad you're getting in shape. Yeah, I'd have to see a picture because I would hate to think you went from the same body type at 210 to 175 and just took off fat, muscle, and everything.
Right.
I was hoping you just take off fat when you come down. That's the big thing. I think people are more impressed with the body weight changing
Mhm.
relative to the
The composition.
body. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you're still got time, my man. 49 is so young. Look at Doc. He's 62.
Mm-hmm.
Black don't crack. You never know it.
All right, we're gonna leave it there. Take us out, Doc.
Enjoy, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Have a good day. This coming week, enjoy. Have a blast. Go out there, kick some butt. All the Titans. Anybody wants to ask them additional questions, you know where to find us, particularly this guy,
OnlyFans.
me, every now and then.
Taxes only.
But yeah, let's get on up out of here.